The playground. So we are at like a day, maybe 20 hours away from the release of Playground. And if you aren't part of the community, in the R1 community, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try my best to explain some of it to you and probably get a bunch of it wrong because there hasn't been a massive amount of eyes on it outside of the internal teams. So with that in mind, the playground itself is a promptable agent for LAM, so the large action model, that you can use to interface with the internet. So there's two, for the moment at least, choices in using LAM Playground. One is via the rabbit hole on the web, and the other is via the R1, and apparently you watch it take the action on the rabbit hole. So you would prompt it on the rabbit, you can see it doing the actions in the rabbit hole, and then it does the thing. I've read all sorts of claims about what this can possibly do for you. Things like the rabbit controlling my Google Home. I've seen it with showing you how to shop for things. It's sort of a similar. It seems like to me, from what I've read, it's sort of a teach mode without the teaching part. So it's one that uses, I suppose, some built actions that exist already, and the R1 or the website will take that prompt and do the action as best as it can. And I imagine that this is to do with the security issues that they were talking about in the past, with having teach mode be open to everybody from the very beginning without any sort of safeguards, i.e., DDoS attacks that could be made with that kind of thing, or people just spamming social media with all sorts of terrible nonsense. So it feels like this is a step in that direction with the safety brakes on. There's no way to do things that it can't do, but you can play around with it. Hence, I think the point of all of this is the playground is for experimentation. And I hope that the community, and I hope that other people at large, can sort of use it in that sense, right? If we can all play around with it, see how it interacts with things, and learn how to use it, it's also going to give us some really great insights into how teach mode will work and what teach mode is going to be useful for. And how to prompt teach mode really is another big part of this, right? Understanding how the rabbit understands you helps you then teach it better going forward. So that's sort of how I've been looking at this playground announcement, which we're really, really close to. And one of the other big things that's coming with it is a bit of a rabbit hole redesign, as far as I understand. So I'm really excited about that, because I do think there's probably a few things that could be changed there to make it a little bit more functional, make it a little more usable. Some of the things I'm still missing at the moment, which I hope is coming at some point. I'd love to see my Magic Cam pics on the R1 itself. So when I take the picture, I'd love to be able to bring it up, see the image it takes, the image it made, and then scroll sort of between the original and the Magic Eye one, the Magic Cam one. That'd be really awesome. But those are different sort of features, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. But I think that maybe as we move forward with a redesign of the rabbit hole and things get changed in that way, they can start to bring some of that stuff to the R1 itself. But as for the playground, I'm really, really excited to try a couple things. The Google Home thing, I'm really, really excited for. My house is extremely Google Homed, and I'd love to tell my R1 to turn the TV down a little bit, etc., to have that function in a really, really great way, without having to grab 1,000 different remotes or look anywhere or find a speaker or talk too loudly, because sometimes my daughter's asleep and I don't want to speak too loud or whatever it is. So calling out to Google can be a little bit tricky. So yeah, I'm hoping that, at least for that's where I'm going to start. I can think of a bunch of other things that can be done with it, but I obviously have to try it out first, because I don't think there was like an alpha test group for this at all. I think it's all been internal, and again, based off of the information I've seen, it looks like it's, pre-taught actions that it's pulling from. So I guess we'll find out very shortly. So yeah, that's just a quick video today on the playground. I will make another video once it's released, and once we have a little bit more hands-on with it and I get to understand a bit better how it functions. Maybe I'll make a quick tutorial, maybe I'll just get some of the thoughts from the community. But the one thing I wanted to put out there, which is really pleasing to see, the word of the day with the playground is potential, and I think that's really key here. So something to keep in mind, right? These updates are free. Rabbit is really gone above and beyond, considering, at least in my opinion, considering the device was, $200 or $300 depending on what country you're from, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. And I've had months and months of updates, massive updates at that, and heaps and heaps of extra work put into it. So I'm really appreciating that side of the device, of it being an extremely functional and low-cost AI device that I've been able to have a lot of fun with. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm hoping that you will join me as we see how deep this rabbit hole goes.